I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to heal family ancestral trauma and regain your power and your peace. Because the truth, although this is a sensitive topic, I've realized that the reason why most people fail to find peace in their life is because they're attached to some past belief of who a person used to be in their life. Now, of course, many people go through serious traumas and situations where perhaps something happened that was incredibly dysfunctional. I'm not here to discredit that, but the truth is that eventually, if we want to find inner peace, we have to learn to see that situation in a different way. Because unless we learn to see that situation in a different way, what is going to happen is that we're going to keep recreating that pain of who that person used to be in our own body. And that cortisol is going to be released in our body. That cortisol, that negative emotion, is going to have a serious negative impact on your body. And what I've noticed is that when you judge the other, when you criticize the other, all that happens is that you're just hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself, right? When you're judging somebody, when you're criticizing somebody, when you're pointing fingers and blaming, you're hurting yourself. And although most of us don't want to admit that because we want to hold on to all that attachment of who we used to be, the key is to understand that you can move forward from that. You don't need to hold on to the past. And I'm going to share with you in this video exactly how to do that. How to heal these family ancestral wounds and traumas for good, so that you can finally have the peace in your life that you truly deserve. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, currently the only way to do so is by booking in a single session. You can book that by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. The first thing that I want to share with you in this video, in terms of how to heal family ancestral traumas and regain your power and peace, is to number one, understand that no matter how difficult it is, no matter how hard it might be, what you want to do is forgive them. Forgive that person. Whatever happened to you, whatever the situation is, whatever may have happened in your life, what you want to do is forgive that person. And you're not forgiving them just for them. Actually, in a way, it's not at all for them. Although eventually it will go full circle and you're really doing it for yourself, but eventually it will heal them as well. And I'm going to share with you later in the video what I mean by that. But the key is to take responsibility for how you feel in your life, your state of being, how you feel. Because at some point, no matter what happened to you, no matter what happened to any person, right? We got to understand that what happens is that if we keep blaming, if we keep pointing fingers, if we keep attaching to who that person used to be, and in fact, most of the times, that person has very far evolved from what has happened. And if we keep seeing that person in a particular way, we're going to keep creating this self-fulfilling prophecy of seeing that person of who, in terms of who they used to be. And although maybe they have some lingering aspects in their consciousness alive in terms of that situation that happened to you or whatever, or to that person, right? Although it was a serious situation, although I'm not saying that you're supposed to forgive that person and say like, oh, like what they did was right. I'm not saying what they did was right. All I'm saying is that at some point, you gotta take ownership over the fact that if you're seeing that person for who they used to be, that's a selfish act. That's selfish because for all you know, that person has evolved. But if you're gonna keep seeing that person through the lens of who they used to be, then you're gonna keep recreating that version of them that you probably don't even want to see in your life anymore, right? And if you want to stop seeing that person in that way, you gotta stop seeing that person in that way. And the first step is to forgive them. To forgive them for your own peace. And again, eventually this is going to go full circle, and whatever happened, it's going to come back and help you, and it's going to help them as well. It's going to heal them too. This is very powerful because once you see that person in a particular way, that honors who they really are, not the ego, right? Not the reactive pattern of who they used to be, right? Think about it. Isn't it selfish to see a person through the lens of who they used to be? That person is long gone, probably not even that person anymore. But of course, they are going to be that person if you keep seeing them in that way. If you keep seeing somebody as a negative person, as a selfish person, as an egotistical person, then that's all you're going to see them as, and you can't see that light that's truly within them. And the way that you inspire somebody, the way that you uplift somebody, is by not pointing fingers and judging. No matter how much they damaged you, no matter how much they caused a trauma to you, at some point you got to say, you know what, this person caused a trauma, for sure, maybe at some level of consciousness, maybe I learned some lessons from that space, but you know what, right now in this moment now, I have a choice. And perhaps in this moment now, maybe you're realizing that you're creating self-generated resistance. Okay, self-generated resistance. And you gotta let it go. You gotta let go of the self-generated resistance. Maybe at some point it was valid to say that, you know what, this person caused an emotion, they made me feel bad, but eventually it's like, you know what, I'm making myself feel this way. I'm making myself feel this way. And when you do that, you gain your power back. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is an interesting perspective that I know might be controversial, but consider this. Is it possible? And look, I'm not here to tell you that this is actually true in reality. I'm not here to tell you if this is actually true. I'm just saying that this is a perspective that can help you to heal. Whether this is true on the highest level or not, I'm not here to say any bold claims around that. I'm not here to make any claims like, oh, this is true in the absolute sense. But consider this perspective just for the sake of your own peace. On a meta level, perhaps everything is in agreement to learn a lesson. See, when you go through traumatic experiences, is it possible that maybe on some level of consciousness, you chose to experience that trauma so that you can get out of it and learn a lesson from that? Now, am I here to tell you that that's exactly what happened? Not necessarily. I'm not going to make any bold claims like that. But what I will say, though, is that if you want to truly step into your power and truly understand who you are as a divine being, it's important to remember that on some level, you have to take responsibility that right now your state of being is absolutely a choice. It is absolutely a choice. And when you own that right now, this moment is a choice to own how you really feel and to own your state of being and to own the reality that you want to be in and to say, you know what, maybe on some level I can learn a lesson from this. Now, is it true? Is it absolutely true? Maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe you'll figure it out one day. I don't know. Let me know if you do. By that point, though, maybe you won't even be on planet Earth. but you know what, though? Like, it's important to remember, though, that this is a perspective that we're just trying to think in certain ways and see reality in a way that's going to help you to move forward. Because think about it, holding on to the pain of the past is just going to be holding you down at some point. It's just going to be holding you down at some point. It's not going to help you to feel how you really want to feel. So you have to let it go. You have to let it go no matter how much pain goes. You have to let it go because you have to see that it's time for you to move forward and it's time for you to be who you really are. And to see that person for who they really are, not some pattern that you believe that this is the way it is or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the third and final thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that when you shift your inner state, for yourself, for your own self, not for the person, the relationship will actually start to change and reflect that inner state. It's absolutely amazing what can happen. You might have judged somebody for many years in your life. You may have seen somebody in a particular way for many years in your life. You focus on shifting your peace in a particular way, and then what happens is that you get a different reflection in your reality. You see that person in a completely different way that has nothing to do with who you used to see them as. And you'll notice that you'll line yourself up in a particular way where you will manifest the perfect version of that person that has nothing to do with that old version of who they used to be. And it's absolutely magical what can start to happen when you open yourself up to this possibility, because actually unconsciousness, some unconscious pattern, that's not who they really are. That's not who they really are. Some pattern of resistance, some pattern of not being in alignment with your true self, and then maybe you're judging and seeing that person in some negative light. That's not the real reality. That's not actual reality. That's just the lens. That's just some goggles that you're wearing where you're seeing that person through some lens on who they used to be. But when you shift your inner state, you'll see that person in a powerful way, in a different way, in a way that is more in alignment with the truth of actual existence. And that's a bold claim to make. I'm here to convince you of that. I'm here to tell you to prove it for yourself. Prove it for yourself that when you shift your inner state, you will line up with the events that will reflect to you that inner state. And then that person used to be will no longer be in your existence and in your consciousness, because it's not a vibrational match to the way that you're showing up. This is absolutely liberating. This is absolutely freeing. And when you realize this, you will be free. And with that, I conclude this video. I sincerely hope that this video was beneficial for you and gave you some value and helped you to get closer to healing those wounds and those ancestral traumas, and to help you find inner peace. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, the only way to do so right now is by booking in a single session. You can book that single session by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.